In a bid to streamline immigration services, the CS for Interior, Kithure Kindiki, has vowed to dismantle cartels domicile at Nyayo House, that's the immigration department. So how is this likely to pan out? Will it be a landmark change coming from him? That is our conversation today on Business Glide, your go-to point on matters public policy analysis, business and economics at large. And I'm yours truly, Richard Mwenjo. Indeed, always a pleasure to have you on board. With me on this conversation is none other than the only name this side of the Sahara in matters public policy analysis, Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Wonderful.
All black. Black is king.
Black is king.
And so is white and light and other colors.
Yes.
All right, very well. We are talking matters reforms that are being spearheaded by CS Kithure Kindiki, particularly that has to do with immigration services,
Yes.
processing of passports and all other services therein.
Yes.
He has gone to the presser, and this is what he had to say. I will spend a bit more time physically, provide the leadership that we require and clean up that Nyayo House place. Many Kenyans have suffered from that place. If need be, we will seal off the place and declare it a scene of crime. Finally, this is coming from the CS Interior, the government acknowledging that rogue officials are therein. Would you say, from a general perspective,
Yes.
it is actually so bad for the CS to announce his next move if he wants really to pounce on the targets?
It is laughable. You would have wanted to laugh at it, but it is just tragic for the country.
Why so?
Why would a CS talk like that? Who are you addressing?
Maybe a serious talk is all we needed, a serious tone.
Chege once told us in the trouble with Nigeria, small, that a tiger does not pronounce its tigritude. It just pounces.
Impromptu.
Yeah. I used to say, mimi ni tiger. And I pounds it too.
But it seems to be the same trend.
Immigration is a very small thing. I can do it in my dream, in my bedroom, when I'm sleeping. To reorganize it. What is wrong?
No more backlogs.
What is that? What for? These are simple things.
Printers are down.
Which printers?
Well,
are they costing 10 billion, 100 billion? A country that can print money can't print passports?
Before we get there.
It just shows how weak our leaders are.
All right.
I think Kindiki are disappointed. You don't talk about passports. You just announced to Kenyans now, if you had a problem with passports, we have streamlined. Go and get your passport. Why do you want to talk? It was a simple matter. Get the right people there, design the right systems, make them ujinga proof, make it difficult for anybody to get a shilling from anybody, so that the systems are just running. Because there are institutions in this country, if you go in, you ask, are you in Kenya? Because things are just running. You go like to Kasneb. It is the system in Kasneb, and unless they have changed, it is just running.
Seamless.
The system in America, for example, you are a president, the time for you to leave, even when you are still making noise, there are people in White House packing your belongings already. Things are just moving. As you talk, they just look at this guy. What's wrong with you?
Clear transitions.
It's a system. You'll talk from outside. You have already left the White House. Moto imewashwa pale. You see, how difficult is it for Kindiki to create a system at the passport? Why can't he give me, I'll do it for free. I don't want to be paid.
You'll do that?
Yeah, I'll just create a system for him.
Before we get to that point whereby we'll question whether you're capable of that job, it actually
That's not even a job I should be doing. That's a job below me. I can give them ideas of how to do it for free. I don't want to be paid now.
All right.
I looked for money when I was young. I didn't get it. Now I don't need money.
You don't need money for retirement?
No, I don't want.
Yet you're so close to powers that be.
Yes.
But, all right, very well. Let's advance that conversation. It actually seems to be the trend in Kenya. We've seen even in the past, then Health Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe coming and saying, I'll dismantle cartels at Afya House.
Yes.
Susan Akumicha, who has taken over him, also said the same very recently. Now we are seeing Kithure Kindiki vowing to dismantle cartels in those respective dockets.
Sakaja saying is closing bars. Noise pollution from bars and
all that. Residential areas.
Yeah, you don't talk. Anybody who talks either doesn't know what he's doing, he doesn't know what he's entering into, or he wants to scare people so that they can see him behind the tent.
Very well.
Yes.
In actually the face of the our partners, external partners, other nations outside Kenya, when a CS comes forward and really admits there is corruption, domiciled in its docket, when other partners, strategic partners from outside, when they see such statements, does it somewhat inspire a low sense of confidence even in further partnerships with our country?
And you know what? There are people who want to do things in this country. But the sort of investment they are making requires that they bring people here. And for people to get work permits, it can be so complicated because of what Kindiki is saying, that people just give up the investment. They are frustrated by cartels who make it difficult for them. So either their competitors may continue enjoying monopoly in those areas where they want to enter, or so that they just chance that they will give them money so that they can process the work permits. So it's very bad for the minister to parade this before the world. Just go there and create a system or systems. The day you apply for your passport.
There you go.
And in fact, Kenyans should not be applying for passports when they want to travel.
What's the alternative?
I looked one day when we were designing the new IDs, not the first one of 1978, which gave women the right to IDs, but the one now we have, the current one. And the government was going to spend lots of money. I got myself thinking, why can't we have a situation of either or? You either have a passport or an ID. And where an ID is required, if you go with a passport, is it not required?
It is.
In other countries, even a driving license. So why can't we say this? If you want to have a passport, let's make it so easy. Let's spread it across the country. I know it's in Kisumu. Let's take it to Kakamega. Let's take it to Bungoma. Let's take it to Vihiga, Mbale. And let it be issued just like an ID. So you pay some little money. I think when I got mine, it was, I don't know how much. But let's say 1,000 or 2,000 or 500, which anybody can afford. Many people will afford. What is going to happen? You ease the demand on the IDs, which the government is paying money for. At the same time, the money people use to get passports. So you are paying for your passport. Some 1,000, 2,000. Sure. That money is what the government will use to facilitate IDs for those who cannot afford the passports.
Sure.
You see how things is supposed to work. So the government spends zero on IDs because the process is paid for by Kenyans who want passports, which are very easy to get, very easy and simple to get, and which are very cheap in terms of cost. This is the thinking Kindiki should be bringing on board.
Big thinking.
But in Nyayo House, create a system.
Create a system.
Please, I'm willing to do it for free.
Professor Julius Bitok is
so because if I say I want to be paid, they say I'm looking for money. I want to do it for free. They just give me they go ahead. Okay, go ahead, create for us a system. How will it work? How will Kenyans get passports from Luombei without coming to Nairobi?
And you also give them recommendation on how to deal with rogue officials.
Yes. Those ones I will just say sack all of them.
Committee straight.
Yes, committee. System yangu itakuwa na mitego ndani. First they will be told, hii mambo yenyu ya wizi imeisha. Kupata pesa kwa raia hapa imeisha. But you know why people collect money from people? No. When they are bottlenecks. When there are delays, like now there are such a serious delay. Who frightened Kenyans into the new passports? That created a whole
avenue for.
Yeah, because everybody wanted the passport at the same time, and you don't. That thinking, where was the thinking that you must get the new look? Even if you have an ID, you must get the new one, the passport. No, they should have said if you have your old passport, use it.
Until when you acquire.
Yeah, when you are going for renewal, then you will renew it. And you know, it's just that when the demand is so high, when the systems are bogged down because of the demand, then room for corruption sets in. I can hasten for you. Ndakuharakishia. Utaniharakishia na yenyewe iko imejaa. It is inbuilt in the system. So why would I? When I log into the system and apply for my passport and have everything, it tells me you are coming for biometrics on this day.
Certain date.
and it tells me collect your passport from the post within 2 weeks. Sasa nitakupa pesa ya nini?
And it doesn't tell you the printer will break down in the next 2 days.
There's how can a government say a printer surely how? A government that a printer government printers government
We can even get a printer in every county.
Not county, every sub-county.
If one wants to go to Qatar for employment, they process it down there.
Apo.
Kuna kuja hadi Nyayo House.
No, why would somebody go to Nyayo? What are people doing in Nyayo House? What are people doing in Nyayo House? That's what Kindiki is talking of Nyayo House. What are people doing in Nyayo House? I should get my passport from Mbale in Vihiga County.
Straight to JKIA to another country. Greener pastures.
Yeah. You should get your passport from Moist Bridge. Is it Moist Bridge?
Eldoret up.
Eh?
Moist Bridge, yeah.
Moist Bridge. Why would you go even to Eldoret? A passport? This is a simple thing.
Simple things.
And you know, once you do that, after 2 years, there's no backlog. Almost everybody has a passport. And they reduce the cost.
No youth misses an opportunity because the passport has not been processed in time.
So, nobody can ask anybody for a bribe. Because if you come to mess me at Nyayo House, I go to Mbale.
You get it there.
If I find a queue in Mbale, napanda matatu shilingi 100 naenda Kisumu. I find there's no queue. I get my passport because I'm a Kenyan. And because everything ought to be automated. So that you can't lie you are a Kenyan. It's networked. We have your ID number, you have your birth certificate number, we have all numbers about you. So once you just log in with one item, if you just log in with your ID, or even your school certificate, Form 4 school certificate, everything about you comes on the screen. So whether you are in Moist Bridge or the Rakanidhi huko where Kindiki comes from.
Centralized data.
Yeah, already our data is almost centralized already. Just kakak, this is Manyora, it can't be anybody else.
No criminal record.
If I just put my fingerprint like this somewhere, the screen just brings this ugly face of Manyora. And all the details, where he's working, how old he is, everything about me should be there. And then I'm issued with my passport, or it is renewed.
Very well.
In a minute, if it's renewal, because the details are there. If it's a new passport, within 2 weeks at most. If you have reason to want the passport tomorrow, state the reasons, give the evidence, we give you the passport tomorrow.
Very well.
Then Katele watatoka hapi. So Kindiki, please, you are an educated person.
No need for a presser.
No
need to announce your arrival.
No. Kindiki is letting us down.
All right.
These ministers were Ruto, they are letting us down.
Maybe a reshuffle will help.
They should go home, all of them.
Not reshuffles?
No, you can't reshuffle these people. They are surprising, the only man who can remain there. Kama sio mdomo yake ni Kuria. He's the only minister who is working.
Kama sio mdomo.
Mdomo tu ndio inamuza.
Or maybe Ababu na Mwamba at least.
Ababu na Mwamba is also good, but the sports in this country will require people who can. He's doing well, but
we're actually talking about that in our next edition of Business Glide. Okay. But then again, before we close up this conversation, if you look at the data, the number of those who are even processing the passports, oftentimes it is those Kenyans, majorly youth, who are going to look for greener pastures. And the government has acknowledged receiving loads of billions in terms of diaspora remittances.
Yes.
Would you say the government is lacking sort of emotional intelligence? The best they can help this lot is at least help them in the processing of their travel documents in time. The government is lacking that sort of emotional intelligence.
It does not matter what you are going to do. The constitution is very clear that a passport is your right. The government has to give you travel documents. It's a right. It's not, even if you are going to play football, you are going to see your girlfriend.
Or vacation for 3 years.
Vacation. You must be facilitated by the state. Must. The state should and shall facilitate you to travel out of the country. It does not matter whether you are going to be a slave somewhere or you are going to...
Or how much the government is going to collect once you are abroad.
No, that's beside the point. Anybody wanting to travel, that's why I'm saying, let Kenyans also learn this idea. You don't wait until you are traveling. And I'm asking government, reduce the amount of money needed.
Process.
The world has moved from the days when printing a document was a miracle.
A source of revenue. Today
you can print these things, passports, anywhere, from the Rakanidhi to Vihiga, from Mandera to Lamu. In Msambweni, you can print your passport there. Why?
You tell me.
It is not even difficult because the features on the passport have been made workable because of the state of technology in the world today. So there's almost if you forge, there is an eye when you go to the airport. If you try to forge a document, there's the biometrics. So it is useless. You don't even need to spend a lot of time, and the technology is so advanced that printing a passport should not be an issue to any government. It is as simple as an exercise book. You know what on a print to vitabu?
Sure.
In fact, all these printers should be able to help government print passports.
At least when the government printer is broken down.
Yeah, you just get the
Outsource.
facilities. You know, it can't be the same printing machine,
Sure.
but the technology is the same.
True.
You know?
Very well. You just customize.
What I'm telling Kindiki, a passport is supposed to be a very simple thing to get. He should be encouraging Kenyans.
To go get
In
passport.
fact, we should be issuing passports to our school leavers.
Form 4.
Yes. Every Form 4, you finish, get a passport.
Kutaka kwenda Australia, enda.
Yes.
Anytime.
Don't come and disturb us. You are in a rush because you have got some slave job in Qatar. Just go for slavery.
You can't say that.
Yeah. Where enda to?
We have fans from Qatar, even government officials who watch us. You can't call their country slavery.
But Kenyans go for slavery in the Middle East. Who doesn't know? That's slavery.
Much as they are sending back huge
Which
billions.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Because it is also a question of dignity.
In
The
labor.
dignity of a Kenyan in Saudi is my dignity is your dignity.
All right. Very noble point there.
But the point I was making is, let us give Form 4 leavers almost automatic passports.
Straight away.
At minimum fee, 1,000,
Yeah, sure.
1,500, 1,200, 2,000. Because it shouldn't be expensive to print a passport anyway. So long as people are not making business out of it. If it is just printing a passport, it shouldn't be expensive. So if every Form 4 student, say they're about 1 million, each gives 1,000 shillings, that money is enough to print passports for all of them.
All right. CS
That's where Kindiki should take us.
Very well. This for CSK Duran Kindiki has been in office for close to about a year. If you look at his track record, he has been there in North Rift, flashing out bandits, in Lamu, the terrorists they are in. Would you say that that track record somewhat inspires confidence that even on the immigration services streamlining, he's going to really get a big win out of it?
Kindiki is trying, but he occasionally lets me down. I don't know whether it's because he's in the company of wrong people. He lets me down like by going to answer questions in parliament. Instead of telling Ruto, this is outright unconstitutional. Instead of taking me the military to Northeastern, to what is it called? North Rift. He should tell the government, this problem cannot be addressed by guns. Guns will be used. Whatever achievement you are making in the North Rift is just temporal. It's just a lull.
No need for modern.
You have not touched the bandits. The boys are still there. They are studying you.
Even after modernizing our artillery.
Nothing. You can't solve that problem using artillery.
Very well.
It requires serious thinking.
Big thinking.
Socio-economic, cultural, historical.
Political.
You need a multi-dimensional
approach.
Using various experts and the people on the ground and understanding the situation very well so that the people can see ending banditry is in their own interest, not in a third party's interest. The way it is, the people in the North Rift think ending banditry is government's agenda for government, not for them. And so long as it is like that, you will not solve it. How come small resistant groups in countries like Uganda, even Kinakoni, how come it takes decades before they are broken down? A small group of people facing government in their resurgence. In Angola, it is the Sabina group that just broke into a police station and just stole guns. And that was enough to start a movement that lasted for a long time until they got independence. And they continued fighting the MPLA government. I don't know the MPLA government. You know what I'm talking about?
True.
Agostino Neto's government. So you cannot, there are certain situations you cannot handle with a gun alone.
Need to diversify your approach.
Yes.
All right. That point by Herman Manyora takes us to the wrap of this conversation today, talking matters. The government's intention to streamline services at the immigration department and also making sure that citizen services are easily accessible easily affordable, and also there is seamless acquisition of that very same services that you're gonna look for from the government. Time now for Fan of the Week. It is none other than this amazing lady from Utalii Village, Janet Sintei.
Janet Sintei must be Maasai.
Yeah, sure.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Right here at Utalii Village.
Soba Janet Sintei.
All right.
And welcome to the family.
Very well. Until next time on Business Glide, I'm yours truly, Richard Mwanjo. Always a pleasure. But up next on your screen is the Business Glide African proverb of the day.